Hi, so I'm going to do something completely different. So I've made a video game, basically. It's all going to be about you. It's not about me at all. I don't care about me. I care way more about you. And often these spaces are all about like one person talking, and who cares? It's much more interesting when you have an idea of what kind of people are thinking generally. Anyway, I'm going to start. I have to run through it quickly. Also, it's intertwined into a story. Story is kind of dark. Get used to it, that's me. Supremacy has infected the bodies of humankind. It started as a fire in their bellies, a small flame of hate and entitlement. But over time, this flame grew and grew. The warmth it gave was infectious, addictive. It was designed that way, designed to get people hooked. It changed how we saw each other and what we could tolerate and what we would give each other and what people had to act like in order for them to be humanized. At first, it was in hidden gestures, microaggressions, but as the flame began to spread throughout our bodies, we began to gatekeep knowledge, limit access. Those that were least resistant to the ideas would be the first to give themselves over to the transition, allowing themselves to be burnt from the inside out. Like the burning bush in the Bible, their bodies were not destroyed, but instead became representative, an advocate for a world where less people had access to incredible technological advances. They burnt with this new sense of worth and saw themselves as the new evolution of humankind, and began to tear apart anything and anyone that couldn't keep up. Others became obsolete as they slept. There was no time for retaliation, no time to raise an alarm. The flames of gatekeeping had infiltrated everywhere, and all of a sudden, there was only fire. Eventually, humanity burnt itself out, leaving only piles of ash and relics of a once great nation. The loss of humanity had triggered the return of the earth spirits, those that had been responsible for seeding the very existence of life on Earth. They had not returned since the first time they were here, and the mere presence of them on Earth was enough to rekindle some of the lost souls of humanity. These last souls rose from under the ash. You are those last souls. You are these last souls of humanity, the accumulation of all our actions ever taken. You have been brought back together to determine how humanity can share and distribute its progressions, so that those who are less fortunate are not left behind. The new name, oh, that's a spelling mistake, for us will be, okay, what's our new name? You have 10 seconds. 10, 9, loudest wins, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Silence is not okay in this world. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, what? Flourish. How do you spell that? I can't spell it, but it does not matter. Okay, close your eyes. As you stand on the embers of your ancestors, you begin to remember the path they had laid out for you. The path of hidden knowledge, the uncovered secrets, and the progressions that were kept close to the chest. Each of you has worked hard to gain the knowledge you have. These memories come flooding back to you now. How hard was it to get where you are now? Does everyone have to work as hard as you did? Would you allow your work, your livelihood, your skills to be copied in full so that others can progress faster? Yes or no? Can you say out loud? Loudest wins again. Open your eyes and look at each other. Not at me. You are willing to allow yourself to be copied so that others could progress further. I often think about how art spaces fail the communities they show, how often secrets behind the development of the work gatekeeps the very group that the work was made for. Let's instead imagine a space where the experience of going to see a piece of entertainment that you love can become a community space where you can get some of the assets, writing, background scenes from the project to allow you to kickstart your own. I often think online forums feel like a reservoir of shared knowledge, and we need to bring these into museum spaces, stopping them from being places of passive enjoyment and turning them into places of learning and access. So I want you to imagine you have gone to see some of your favorite piece of entertainment. There's a bowl of USBs with the label "Assets used for creation. Please use freely. Terms of use noted in the USB." This is the bowl of USB. What do you do? Very obvious. Oh, maybe not. Take the USB, give me those free assets, leave the USB. I don't want free stuff, waste of time. What a surprise. A new sense of drive fills your body, and you pick up new possibilities in your hand. I've been considering ways of distributing the files of my projects. Instead of thinking of those assets and models and, I'm getting this wrong. Instead, thinking of the assets, the models, the code, the sound, the pictures, all as a medium to be used by anyone else, so that the only thing that I own is how I put them together rather than everything used to put them together. Giving that medium to the public, I'm hoping, will give people a better understanding of a foundation that they can use to begin their own journey of creating. And that might shake up the reason that the audiences come to these cultural spaces in the first place, resisting the experience of viewership and shifting it to live forum where experiencing the work you love also gets you close to understanding the inner workings of it and passing on the knowledge. I like this song, sorry. The problem is figuring out the best way to give out free tools. It can't just be on one avenue. I don't know what I wrote there. You want to get those tools to as many people as you can. People are often scared. They don't understand when the new tool is brought out. As, for example, if you give someone an AI training tool that has no idea in AI, they're not going to understand how to use it. If you give them the Unreal Engine 4, they're not going to understand how to use it. You need to give them a foundation that allows them to maybe swap, change, morph assets for their own benefit without the worry of maybe being sued. As you look up, the space has changed. You find yourself in a building. You feel inadequate compared to it. It's large, beautifully made. The design of it intrigues you and you want to learn more about it. What happened in here? How did they develop this design? Who was involved? What did they use to design it, etc. The truth is that they worked to the death for it. They are hired for their unique pipeline, their way of working. Let's say you could package this up and pass it on. How do you share all this information when also the distribution of the information may affect your livelihood? Your body pulsates. Your eyes are full of anxiety, self-doubt, insecurity. How do you give away something that is the foundation of the career that you're still building? Options. Risk it. Legacy could pay more. Don't risk it. This is how you make your money. Where is your worth without the secrets? Liars. That's the spirit. Let's see if you mean that, though. Let's ask ourselves what we are keeping secret and that could actually help others develop faster. Why are we holding on to those things? Why hold them so close to our chest? You may have a good reason, but there's no point wanting to be open with your resources without considering what you are not comfortable with being open with. So perhaps today we can do an honesty moment. What we've been holding on to that makes you good, and what things you could do. Wow, the writing here is terrible. What you could do that could help others that you know. Maybe it's just the scrapbooking. Maybe it's the time management. Maybe it's where you get your producers, your contacts, your sound files, links to where you get programs, courses, shortcuts, etc. Maybe you haven't even recognized the importance of something within your practice. But I guess the most important thing about giving away knowledge, fuck it, I'm gonna just do it on my own. For me, the most important thing about giving away knowledge and giving away something in your process is actually trying to give away as much as possible. There's so much minutia in actually everything that we do that can trigger someone to do such a better job or to really start their own career. You have to think of it as not you. There's no point in us like just listening to you and coming to you with the knowledge. You need to spark something within someone else so that hopefully they build a legacy of work that's based on something that you've done. It's not about like selling books, selling games, making you're the biggest name for yourself, getting the most amount of followers. It shouldn't be about that. It should be about actually setting a legacy, building up a group of individuals that is based around a core practice of your practice. So perhaps it's about diversifying what you make open, the process, how you make your contacts, the price, oh my God, the price of how much things cost, all of these things. I can just feel that if it's put on the web, it's only accessed by a certain select group. You cannot just put something on the internet. It does not work for a lot of people in this world. There are 7 billion people, maybe 8 now, in this world. How many of those have access to internet? How many of those are going to find your hidden link underneath Google's billions and billions of websites? How many people do we even know in this room? How many websites are just in this room alone? And how many have I accessed? None. How many have you accessed? 1 or 2? How many people do you know in this room? Maybe 3 or 4 or 5 because they're in your social network. But if you want a wider reach, this is pathetic. We need to expand way, way, way more and install it into the practice itself and into even the meeting of your work. Anyway, as a final thing, how do you make giving away your process part of your final project? That's the last question to you. I have no idea. Thank you.